Our Father, who is in heaven, holy is your name which created your kingdom of worlds. Your acts are done on earth as you do them in heaven. So please give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our lack of knowledge, as we forgive those in our lives who display a lack of knowledge. And keep us aware and self-aware during times we are close to displaying ignorance. Deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Our Mother, who is on earth, sent by the Son, Jesus, Yeshua, Christ of Nazareth, holy is your name which ministers to your kingdoms within the world. Your works are seen in heaven as they are seen on earth. Give us tonight the manna of this earth, and let us drink from your secret wine of understanding, so that we may forgive and continue to forgive those who trespass against us, even if we did not trespass against them. Surround and fill us with Goddess goodness in all spheres, for thine is the power of the glory of the kingdom, forever and ever, and so it is. Nam Dominus es infinita sapientia intelligence. This is the Two of Cups one. The Two of Cups represents Archangel Raziel in your life, Group 7. Archangel Raziel is the Archangel of Secrets. He's the magician. And if you're watching this, that means you're a magician. But not just any kind of magician. You're a magician who was reincarnated on this planet for millennia. You were here at the beginning. You were here at all the great world events. You've literally seen it all. But there's something very curious about the 21st century. It's kind of like a game within a game. It makes you think that everything that's going on is all there is. And you almost have to forget what you know so that you can remember who you truly are. And so we don't get lost down this rabbit hole. We are going to light some incense. What is incense? Incense is like a messenger. When the smoke goes up, it doesn't just disappear. It enters the morphogenic field. The morphogenic field is not something you can see, but you can see its footprint. Let me show you. I'm going to light these incense sticks. And when we light the flame, we are activating Berea, or the throne room. And as we get the smoke going, you'll be able to see the morphogenic fields of the smoke as it wisps and wasps in different directions. This is how psychics can see what's happening in your energy. We look at the smoke, and if we have nice straight lines, then we know that everything's flowing well and you're drawing your energy perfectly. If we see what we're seeing now, it's to be expected because I'm online in a live stream. Have you ever gone swimming in a stream before? Felt the currents pulling you back and forth, to and fro? Yeah, that's what this is. And I bet as we keep talking and I tell you what I have to tell you tonight, the smoke will relax and calm down. Because tonight we are doing the Two of Cups one. the Two of Cups becoming one. Now I know last night I scared you. I told you who God was, and it shocked you because it's never been said. I mean, at least not in the last 1,000 years. And if you ever repeat what I told you to a rabbi or a pastor, you'll reboot them live. You will stun them. They won't even know how to respond to you. They'll probably tell you to get out and never come back because you will ruin their business if you tell people the truth. So since it's out, we're going to just keep going and you'll slowly start to get used to it. I put some videos to show you what he looks like, not the literal shape of God, but when you watch that video, you'll immediately get it. And you'll immediately know why I keep saying you have to live inside of your body and always look at your body as almost like a slug. You know, like your body doesn't have any eyes. Your body can't see what's happening. And science has already proven that when athletes watch themselves playing a sport or if they visualize themselves playing a sport, according to their muscles and their body, their brain, the body doesn't know the difference whether they're actually doing it or not doing it. So if you just use your imagination and swim in the waters with me for the next hour, you will be able to, let's not say trick your body, but you'll be able to help your body understand God in a physical sense that you can use to manifest reality instead of kneeling every night, begging, pleading in your car, please Jesus help me, please Jesus help me. You are filling up our mailbox in heaven and we don't have space. So we are coming to tell you so you can do it yourself. You don't need a preacher, a pastor, an intercession, a magic spell. Even incense is not necessary. But I'm using these tools to show you how they work. And then when you anchor them into your mind, you can activate them from your mind in the exact method that Jesus did on Mount Hermon when he transfigured himself with Moses and Elijah. So that's what we're going to do, and it's going to be a bit painful because you're going to have to accept a couple of things that you might not want to accept. The first of those things being what we talked about last night. Now, I have a bowl of cherries, cranberries, a bowl of cherries and berries, and blueberries. And these are my crutch for the episode, for the game. Because if you thought learning that God was a giant octopus king who lives in water, well, it's like water, but it's heavenly water. I'll explain in a sec. If you thought that was a lot, wow. Wait till you hear why you don't have a soulmate or a twin flame. You're never going to meet them, so get over it. I need a blueberry for that one. Okay, so now that we're over that, let's tell you why. You gotta just rip the band-aid off sometimes. So let's go to the Bible and let's explain this diagram in a way that makes a little bit more sense. You can still imagine the SSDs underneath it and everything going on in the world, but let's see the divisions that God made in the Bible. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Now, what they are describing there is what we talked about last time, which is the four worlds. Beria, or Atziluth, Beria, Yetzirah, Asiya. So when they talk about God hovering above the waters, or the Spirit of God hovering above the waters are represented in the tarot by the cups. So when God is hovering above the waters, these are the waters he's hovering above. There's the eye. There's the waters. He's hovering above them. That tells you in the very first few lines of the Holy Bible that you will never create anything unless you are hovering above the waters. But where are these waters? What are they? And how do you actually do it? A lot of people tell you just draw in the universal energy. Just float above the stars. But they don't actually tell you how. In a way you can actually repeat over and over easily. Well, we're going to do that now so that you can stop filling up our mailbox in heaven. So before we get into that, we need to figure out what's actually happening from the top down. And if we are under the crown of Venus, well, what the heck is Venus? Why is Jesus giving us the morning star? I mean, isn't Morning Star some evil show on TV, Lucifer Morning Star? Then why does Revelations 2 verse 28 say Jesus is going to give me the morning star? What kind of a Satanism is this? That's what the world has trained you to think, you see, because they don't want you to know. They want you to be scared of what I'm telling you so that you don't look. Well, now it's time to look. Pluto in Aquarius. So let's talk about Venus. What are you guys actually getting? What is this technology I keep talking about? Well, it's kind of in your face, right? What is the astrological symbol for Venus? I'm sure you all see it when you go to the bathroom and you want to differentiate between the female and the male bathrooms. And you get, we'll use green. Well, she wants pink. So you are under the crown of Venus. So let us depict her. So Venus is a circle. And guess what? A cross. Is that visible? Yes. So this is the astrological symbol for Venus. Let's make it a little bit darker. And what do you think this looks like? Is it something you can perhaps hold in your hand? Is it something you have in your bedroom right now? Well, of course it is. It's a mirror. Jesus says in Revelations 2, verse 28, that he's going to give you a mirror. Now, why in the world would you want a crown made of mirrors? Aren't mirrors supposed to be evil? Don't people use mirrors for hoodoo? That's what they want you to believe, because they don't want you to understand the glorious power of the mirrors. Now, in order to understand that glorious power, just think of like a movie, okay? This whole thing is about movies. You're acting in Star Marine, guys. We're in the literal studio. And I'm sure you've all seen those scenes where someone is lost in the forest and then John Cena has to find them, so they grab their compact mirror that happened to survive the whole, terrorist in the jungle plot thing. And then they angle the mirror in the sun. And then John Cena's down there in the ravine next to the water, and he sees a reflection in the water. And then he looks up and he sees it's Sandra Bullock. And then he can save her. And then you can project yourself onto Sandra and pretend you are being saved. That's how Venus is supposed to work. A compact mirror, something you use for beauty, to check how you look, is now coming in handy in a dangerous situation. That's why Venus rules justice, love, and war. And that's why we've been given this mirror, so that we can overcome or have victory over love and war. Now, we're not going to really talk about the war part. Let's talk about the love part, because you all want your soulmate. So now, when we have a mirror that's reflecting clearly and perfectly the image that God created you to be, which is His, if that mirror can reflect all the way down to the material realm, unencumbered, its light flowing beautifully, then you are living in your true purpose and design. Then all of your spiritual bodies are activated and aligned. Your crown is on. When you cross over as the returning star, your crown will be activated and you will be boundless. You will be a beneficiary of everlasting life. But something happens to the light that's shining into, or reflecting rather, off this mirror from God. Something happens to this light that traps it in the middle world, so that by the time it gets to the material realm, it's all fractured and fragmented up. And then by the time you get to your return phase, you actually watch a video of your entire life and we ask you questions. And when you can't answer the questions, one of two things will happen to you. You'll either get reloaded, or you'll get rebooted. If you get reloaded, you end up becoming a slave to reincarnation. You end up having your soul incarnate through the fourth and third dimensions only. You are someone who will never ever understand what we are talking about if you have been reloaded. But if you get rebooted, you just get a gentle nudge in the right direction. And that's what this is. This is a gentle rebooting, a taste of what will happen to those who don't do their initiation on the 9th of Jan. Because when the light is reflecting from the expansion zone of the 7th dimension down to the 6th dimensional throne room and into the causal realm of Lumania, it's ideally meant to flow down in a pure light to the material realm. But if something can't reflect, what's the opposite? Camouflage. So now let's take our example, except this time you're not Sandra Bullock and there's no John Cena. Let's have The Rock. The Rock is in the middle of the forest and he's chasing down a terrorist. So he needs camouflage. Ideally, camouflage is something good, right? Something that can protect you from harm. But in this case, camouflage is bad. And camouflage comes in two varieties. So I'll do one in blue, and let's do one in black. So this is where the light gets fractured. So in an ideal world, you have your vision and goals, and then it comes all the way down, the pure, beautiful light, and reaches you. But in reality, the light reflecting off the face of God goes into your mirror, your crown of your tree, and then everything's going perfectly in the first 3 rounds. It's not until we get to the astral realm that things start to go wrong. Why? Because that's where the break between the waters above and the waters below begins. We'll get to that, but keep it in mind. In the 4th dimensional astral, the light is subject to emotional shifts. It's subject to your memories, your childhood wounding is also located here. This is what some people might call your North Node. It's where your destiny is buried because it's something that you've had since you were a child, your imagination. And that Neptunian energy is something that only you know how to handle yourself or communicate with. It's your secret inner world. Now, if everything's going well, your secret inner world will be flowing smoothly, will be clear and calm. Even if you had adversity as a kid, if you've worked through it, you've made peace with it. You're a queen of cups. You can look back at your past and you've made peace with it. You've forgiven everything and everyone in it. So then the light will bounce off this moon in the fourth, in the astral. It's called the blue moon. It'll bounce off this moon quite well. But then it bounces into the third dimensional realm or the mental realm. And here we have another moon because these are all places and they need sources of light. So in the 3D or the mental realm, there's another moon. This is called the black moon. Now this moon does have a good function. The purpose of this moon is to separate what is from what isn't. This moon is also known as your south node. It's created by the residual energy, magnetic energy of your past life incarnations. So the fourth dimension is your current life and everything you think about it, your memories about it, your nostalgia is in your astral. But your mental realm, your 3D, that's an imprint of a gone, finished world that does not exist anymore. And this is where you think you have a soulmate. Now, if this was running properly, you wouldn't think that. You would know that as soon as you calm this part down, as soon as your black moon stops causing tsunamis in your mental realm because you think this person from Earth is the love of your life and you were meant to be together, come on, please. When you get over that conditioning from your previous incarnations, that longing, that desperation really, when you play the night game, astral reality gateway, to get into here, when you overcome this Lilith of a black moon, then you are able to access everything in the etheric, including the Akashic records and magic. Magic with a J. So I want to use green. This is the realm of magic. Haven't you ever wondered how you're able sometimes to just know that your friend's about to call and then they do? And then you ignore it and you just say, it was a fluke. But what if that was, I don't know, a winning lottery ticket? That's a fluke that can change your life. So flukes aren't just flukes. Flukes are magic. Flukes are what we do. So the reason you will never access magic is because you don't want to accept your marriage to Christ, clear your blue moon and your black moon so that the light from the face of God can reach you in your two-dimensional etheric body so you can seed it, get pregnant like the three of Major Arcana Empress and manifest. It's really that simple. And you can trust me. I'm a doctor on TV. And also because you saw me manifesting a studio using this method. So, run and tell that. Those are really good. So then I can hear some of you saying, well, why would God, the Pluto squid man, invent such a terrible system? Why would he put two moons in between me and my magic? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And then he has the nerve to send Charlie Manor, an AI program, part of Mvikele version 3.5.7, in a game hijacked by aliens. God has the nerve to send that dude to me and then tell me I can't take my magical energy by going up. But dude, I'm right there. But this Charlie Manor dude, he tells me I have to die first, then go there to Venus, and then come down again. He's insane. As an AI, he told me to go, die, go to heaven, leave my AI there, or leave my real self there, and then come back as an AI. Yes, I did. Because that's the way it goes. That's just the process. So you are concerned at this point that you are married to a son whose father-in-law created a flawed, ridiculous system. Well, it's not. It's actually perfect. So why would someone need camouflage? Let's use a business example. Let's say you have a nice recipe for a sauce, a pink sauce, and you have this pink fruit or ingredient, whatever, you don't want to tell anyone because then Walmart is going to start making pink sauce. So you go to your kitchen and you mix up pink sauce, you put God knows what in it, but it tastes good and it looks good and the people on TV seem to like it. So that's part of your, remember our bread example? That would, when you in the kitchen making stuff, that's Venus and Earth. So you've got your secret ingredients that no one knows, and it tastes good, people like it. But now you can't just sell it, you know? You don't want a legal case. You don't want to send people to the hospital. So you have to send it to Mars, aka Samael, aka the devil. You have to send it to him because he's gonna pick it apart. He's gonna take your pink sauce, put it in a centrifuge, spin it around till every single particle rips and tears apart from that pink sauce until he sees on his spectrometer what lead, chemicals, vitamins, minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients, etc. are in your pink sauce. So when Satan rips you apart, he's trying to find what you're made of. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to make you better. And that's the point of doing your monosol initiation so that you don't have to go through it the hard way and you just do it in a clean and clear step-by-step pattern where you avoid Hellraiser. You called us and we came, and they will take you. The Hellraiser, the Cenobites will take you to here. A lot of people are here. I'm sure you have friends and family who are in here, whether it's about politics or any other choice that someone makes that shouldn't be judged. They are here about it. They are resisting being ripped apart. They are trying to hold on to a past life identity. And those people are super dangerous because they block the light and they do everything in their power to protect their right to block the light. And if you get involved with someone like this, if you go on a date on Tinder with a stranger, 99% of the time, I bet you are dating a black moon or a blue moon turbulent. We'll get to it. Now, I know the temptation for you to jump from the material to the etheric to get your magic is there. A lot of you like to abuse dragons, the fae, and all kinds of magical creatures for your own purposes. Well, under the new tree that has stopped, and just see what happens to you if you try and access magic illegally. We won't go into that now. But Samael will have will have something special for you. So if you have an idea, you want it to be protected, you hide it in the astral, but then in order for it to reach the shops, in order for it to reach everyone else, it has to be ripped apart in the mental. I feel like that's clear now. That's how it was intended to be designed, so that by the time you access the magical realm, it's pure light. Everything is in its correct place because it's been divided correctly, right? If you're diabetic, you want to know how many carbohydrates or how many grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams are in your food. Otherwise, you'll go into a diabetic shock and you won't be able to get magic. So you guys understand it in that context. Understand it for your soul. This is your soul we're talking about. So now once the product is deemed safe, it goes into the magical realm, and that's where it molds and flows with the morphogenic fields, and it comes to you in a way that you don't know how. Now, I mentioned earlier that this you can think of as your north node. So this is your dharma, your destiny. And down here, you can think of this as your south node of the moon in your chart, your birth chart, that is. And you can think of this as karma. So we've got dharma. Yes, we'll write it down. Let's use red. Yes, let's make it gay. Bright flaming red. So this would be your dharma. Remember that show Dharma and Greg? Now you know what it was about. And this would be your karma. Kamini. Okay. So dharma, good, karma, bad. Just kidding. These are two ends of a snake. Your goal is to join the snakes. Because why? Why are they cut up? Why can't they just be one? Well, we'll get there. When God created the worlds, he made some separations. So now you know how this machine works. It'll become easier to connect it to your SSDs because, like I said, all 12 SSDs connect to each realm, which means the moon in the astral is the same moon as the moon in the mental. It's just a different frequency. And when we talk about frequency, it's about alignment. So all you really have to do is easy. And Jesus did it on Mount Hermon when he called up Elijah and Moses and spoke to them in real life while shining. He was literally pulling light from up here, talking to people who were in here, and the disciples could see those people in here because Jesus was anchored in here. He became a monad in real life, in sense physical. No one has ever done that before, and that's why Jesus is famous. And so amazing. Your husband ripped open reality. Aren't you so proud of that? Well, let's learn how to do it so you can do it too. Elijah, let's put him up here, is one of the people that Jesus saw, according to the witnesses. So why Elijah? Where does Elijah come in? Elijah does not want to be orange. He wants to be blue. Elijah wants you to stop being afraid of everything you see in the astral, because the astral realm is represented by the waters of Tiamat. So remember, like we said in the beginning, the Spirit of God hovered above the waters. Which waters? The waters of Tiamat. The waters that were going to become something. What is it going to become? It's going to become creation. But how does it become it? Well, God had to destroy it. That's why he had to separate so many things. And we'll go into how he separated even the waters above and the waters below. And that's the first thing you need to understand, that creation is destruction. In order to create something, you have to destroy something. If I want to create a new image on your screen right now, I have to remove all of this and take it away. I have to destroy it so I can give you a new page, new information. But then you say to me, well, it's not really destroyed because it's in my head. Exactly. But what I'm saying is, not only is it in your head, you can rewind it, you can fast forward it, and you can bring it up as if it's there in real life. Let's go into it. I want to talk about Elijah because he was a star marine that did something similar to Jesus. I mean, he disappeared from earth in a chariot. So he also bent reality, and he's not dead according to Jewish tradition. Actually, they think, well, we believe we're married now, so we believe that Elijah is still alive. He's just existing up and down these worlds. And in Jewish culture, they actually believe he visits newborns when they have their snip snip ceremony. And he also comes and visits during Passover. So this is not like a metaphor. This is real technology. Why do you think people at CERN are trying to do this thing with billions of dollars worth of equipment when Jesus did it for free on a mountain, barefoot probably, you at least have a computer, so you're gonna do even better, as he said. So don't worry. So in 1 Kings 18, let's go to the Bible, 1 Kings 18. We can see that Elijah was a star marine because he had firepower, and that's one of our gifts. Star marine, light, fire, seraphim, the burning ones. That's who we are. That's why you see white flashes of light everywhere or at the corner of your eyes. So when you see Elijah commanding fire, that's your signal, because the fire is the light from the face of God that we are supposed to reflect in the world. We also see that he can make a drought. He can make rain happen. This is something we did last week. I don't know if you read the news, but according to NASA on Sunday, when we were doing our operations, about a week ago, 7 days ago, not this one, the other Sunday, I think. For the first time, NASA found lightning on Mars. We did that. Look it up. The Perseverance rover got some action over here. Why? Because we changed the tree. Coincidence? Yes. There were many more other things that happened, but it's your task to find them, and then you'll know which world they're happening in and why. But these things are all things Elijah did, and it wasn't a big deal for him, so it shouldn't really be a big deal for us. Remember the time when he was even fed by ravens? So he could control birds, weather. These are the elements, and also the realms. So when you have your Two of Cups, what we are really saying with this, it came up in your very, very first reading, soul reading. We're not saying go find your soulmate and then you'll be whole. We are saying that these two moons, because cups are moons, Bacchus, the god of wine and partying, is associated with the moon because your glass, your wine glass, is a moon. These are glasses, look, it's cups. And when I look at the tarot, I use film terms. Okay, so for me, cups, I think of reflector boards. Like when you're on a film set, you have whiteboards to bounce light. Right now, I'm bouncing a light off that garage door. That's what Two of Cups is. I don't have two lights. I have one light in this room, but it's bouncing off that wall and creating this nice soft diffused light. That's what you're doing. You're taking your one self, bouncing yourself through the realm so you can get to your magic, so you can do whatever you want. Go to Italy, buy a Lamborghini, whatever. Because why? Whatever you have or do will just naturally be used to glorify God. You'll drive your Lamborghini, and a little kid will see you and say, "Wow, mister, wow, lady, how'd you get a Lamborghini?" And you'll say, "Jesus gave it to me." And he'll say, "Who's Jesus?" And you'll say, "My husband." And you'll walk away. That's the whole point. And then they will go and figure it out on their own, but at least they will know. 1 Peter 3:15, they'll know how people get happy. Instead of what's happening now, where people are trying to go up and then people are keeping secrets about the things you have to do if you want to go up, because best believe you can go up, but you're not allowed to. if you're a star marine. That's why King Solomon wasn't allowed to call dead people from the Witch of Endor, because he wasn't drawing energy down. He was trying to go up, because once you go down here, you're actually going up again, because you're a returning star. So you can't call people up like that. Like you're sending energy back. We're not going to get into those secrets because that's a different episode, but I just want you to know, stay away from those people. Okay? You know which people I'm talking about. In 2 Kings 11, in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 11, Elijah leaves earth in a chariot of fire. Why is it always fire and then on TV they tell you the devil is fire? Interesting. I also want you to look at Malachi 4, verse 5. That tells you that, Elijah's still alive. I'm not making this up. It's in the Bible. He's a ghost in the machine. He's not a ghost, he's alive. So now let's talk about the saying you've always heard, that'll happen once in a blue moon. That means, it'll never happen when we use it in normal conversation. But what is a blue moon actually? A blue moon is when you have 2 full moons in 1 month. And Elijah represents that because he was like that. He did a lot of things, a lot of miracles, and then he disappeared, went back up to the throne room. So this thing that's happening to us now, Group 7, is that blue moon thing. How much planning or how much of a coincidence did it take that the person who made Group 7 famous, her name is Sophia, wisdom. We have 7 realms. I've known about 7 since forever. Look at my videos from the past. I'm always talking about 7 lights, 7 this, 7 that. Well, of course, the Bible has 7. But why now? Because it's a blue moon event. Because we were focused enough to pull it into being. Because Pluto is now in Aquarius and the circumstances are right. So this is happening. You're not imagining anything. You are now living in your North Node or your destiny, your Dharma. Your destiny is your choice. Your fate is what you get. Elijah confronted King Ahab. They had this big, massive showdown on Mount Carmel. And then he disappeared. You are going through the same thing, except it's not against King Ahab. It's against you and your idea or fantasy that you're going to live in a white picket fence with Angelina Jolie and your beautiful kids, etc. And you're going to retire and get a package deal. Everything's fine. You're going to wear suspenders and checkered shirt and go to Spur and have a ribs on Tuesday, No. It's over. You are here to literally be a burning bright light and then not convert people, but just be. Because when Elijah came, everyone was worshipping Baal. And he came as a flash of light, did his thing, disappeared, and inspired the Israelis or Israelites who had turned their hearts away from God, had gotten cold. That's what this is about. It's not about changing the world. We are here for the sick, not for the wicked. The wicked are in their own world. We are here for those of us who are sick, who forgot, and we just want to remind you. And we know you have your own medicine, so we are not going to make you feel dependent by making you rely on us to do this process. We know that if you can set up your own computer, if you can build a desk from IKEA, then you can definitely calibrate your bodies, light bodies, into a monosol. Now we want to bridge understanding with Elijah, which is why we are mentioning that he represents the North Node. Because there are people watching who only know the Bible, and there are people watching who only know astrology. And then there are people watching who only know Vedic astrology. So we need to bridge all of these together so that you all understand that you are all talking about the same thing. There are many, many paths, but only one way. So I'm giving you the paths, but at the end of the day, the cross is the crown. So make of that what you will. So the North Node, to be specific. So I'm going to explain the same thing as Elijah in the Bible, but now in terms that the pagans and heathens and stuff, whatever word they use to bully you, I'm sorry. But that's how you had to learn, how you had to go through. That's how Pluto or the tentacle man got to you. But now it's all making sense, right? This is the reason. So your North Node, if you do your astrology chart, it'll tell you North Node, South Node. You can work these out for free right now on Google, and you don't even need your time of birth because it's a generational thing. It's not a time thing. It's a mass event. That's why I mentioned Elijah with the Israelites. And so with you personally, when you find your North Node, which is one of 12 options, and they come as a pair, your North Node is where you are moving towards in this incarnation. And so we've already done that. We found that your North Node is moving towards Aquarius. It's moving towards the High Priestess energy. And what that means is if you're going towards Aquarius, that's when Jesus said, follow the man carrying a pitcher of water to that house. Astrology deals in houses. So Jesus was also touching on astrology. So what house? Well, in this schema, it would be your Dharma house. It would be your house of destiny. So follow the man carrying water to your destiny. Because why is destiny so important? Your destiny is where your desires are. And your desires were put in your heart by God. So it's very important for you to use your desires as a gauge to see if you are aligned in the realms. If you are working in an office and you absolutely want to be out on a mountain hiking or saving wildebeest or something, you are not living authentically to yourself. I know you've got bills. I know you've got a degree that says you have to work in an office, but then you can't expect your inspiration, your light to reach earth if you are only dreaming about being on the mountain. But because of karma, mental, I have bills. I have a wife. I have a husband. I have kids. I can't just go start a business. And then it's empty. And then you pray and you pray Nothing happens. One day you meet a demon down here who says, I'll show you how to get magic up here. And then you end up on a plane to Jeffrey's Island. That's how it happens, folks. Desperation. Yes. We are not about that life. I've met those people who are about that life. Stay away from them. And yeah. We want you to be single so that you can realign your soul to this purpose. Because the day of the Lord is coming. I don't want to sound all, hellfire and brimstone. But like I said in the previous episode, the life ruining one, the only thing that is to be scared of on that day is that God is going to ask you, why didn't you shine your light? That's the question they ask you. And you better have a good reason. Giving a reason that you had to pay bills is just not gonna cut it with Hydra. I've released the playlist of all of these initiations we've done. I've also added pictures of Hydra. I mean videos of it. It's an actual, there's a microorganism called Hydra. It's tiny, microscopic. It looks exactly like the guy I saw. And I found that yesterday. Coincidence? Of course. Because the more we talk about him, he wants to show us he's real. And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, why did they name this microorganism Hydra knowing what is happening? And it has 7 limbs. It looks like a menorah. It looks like a Jewish menorah. It looks like my notes. Do you guys understand how deep we are in the shit now? And you have to align, or else when the 9th comes, they are not going to hold back on karmic energy. And it'll just attack the mental. In Luke 9, Matthew 17, and Mark 9, you can see proof that this works because Elijah disappeared on a chariot in one part of the Bible, in the Old Testament, and then he came back in the New Testament on a mountain. How? The same way I am talking to you right now, but I'm in another dimension, in another planet. So when Elijah went there, thousands of years later, to see Jesus on the mountain, what the heck was Jesus even doing there? What is a transfiguration? Well, in Africa, we call what Jesus was doing African computer. Because this is not something that is mysterious. It's something people do every day. And then you ask yourself, well, then why don't they just manifest thousands of dollars or billions of rands? Because doing this is more beneficial than billions of rands. Okay, so how did he do it? Let's go into the African computer. I'm teaching you African computer now. We're in a garage. This is a startup, so we might as well do some tech. So remember I told you that Jesus was there when everything was created. So he's the only one who knows the secret of how it was created. And also, remember when he came back from the dead, when he resurrected, he could walk through walls, he appeared and disappeared, but he also ate fish. So he didn't just like eat and the food falls out of his, like that movie Ghost with Demi Moore and the hot guy. No, he ate and he held the food, but then he disappeared through walls. That is only possible in the etheric realm. It's not possible in the mental, obviously. It's not possible in the astral, and it's not possible up there. You can only do it here. So Jesus is here, obviously. If you're asking, where's your husband right now? He's there. What do I mean he's there? I mean, he built a bridge for you to use to get to the throne room. He's everywhere, but I want you to think of him as being here because it's closer. But he built the bridge. How does this tie into our discussion in the previous game about baptism? Because now you're seeing that when you baptize over here, remember Jesus ripped a hole through this entire thing when he got baptized. That's where the dove came from and the voice. So when you baptize here, you get to not take the energy up here, but you get to register your identity in all of these places so that when you do get there, they know you. Many are called, but few were chosen. And when you get there and you say, hey, Jesus, how's it going? He might say, I don't know you. Not in a bad way, like in a nightclub. He means you didn't go through the portals. It's like when you play a game show and you have $100,000 and they say you can go home now or you can answer two more questions and get 1 million. And you answer those questions and you fail and you lose everything. Wah, wah, wah. It's not that Regis Philbin, God rest his soul, is trying to ruin your life. He doesn't know you. You didn't register the right answer. It's the same thing. So when you baptize, you die, then you go through and you are now registered as you come down. And that's why in Psalms it says, a pestilence may come by and arrows, but nothing will touch me. That's why. Because you're not looking for love on Tinder. That's why nothing can touch you. Because nothing can touch that light. It burns. So I want you to think of Jesus as being here, or at least having left you a bridge to him up here. So now I have to explain creation in order for us to understand how this machine comes together. Okay, so where's the Bible? Okay, so let's look at the divisions. What did God do? Okay, then God said, we're going from where we left off. Genesis 1 verse 3. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. So the expansion zone and everything from 6 downwards is that first separation. Remember I said we are mirrors reflecting the light of the face of God. So if we are number 6, Venus, the lovers card is number 6. Remember Venus. The light that was separated is above us, and we start with the night. That's why it's called night game, because I'm making you win this game here so you can have everything and stop wasting prayers when you should be helping children and widows. Okay, so now you know where night game comes from. That's the first separation, day, night. Okay, then, or darkness. God called the da. Number 6. Then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So that's number 6. Genesis 1:6. Here's the firmament. Let me draw it in. This is the first firmament to divide the waters from the waters. We touched on it the other night. Now we're doing it. Let me get 2 of cups out there. Let's use green because it's magic. So here's the first division he made. Let's just make that clearer. So there is Genesis 1:6. The waters from the waters. Remember, he is an octopus. He lives in water, but he can't live in our water because we are heathens. Not us. Those people at that time. I'm kidding. I need to lighten the mood because it's gonna get worse from here. When you see that God designed it perfectly, so there's no other way for you but to initiate and forget about soulmates. Okay, so that's number 6. Number 7. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament. So this is a firmament. So let's put there firmament. Can I use a pen, please? Thank you. This is a fir. Can you? I hope you can see this. Firmament, division, separation. Okay, number 7. We did that. Number 8. And God called the firmament heaven. So the evening and the morning were the second day. Okay, so this is heaven. This is the mysterion that I keep talking about. So when I say we are going to Lumania, I'm saying we are above all of this mishigas down here. That's why when people try and do bad things to you, it will never work. That's why I've been telling you for years, no one can harm you because all magic goes through the moons. And since you are known by Hecate, why would they harm you? They know you. When a random stranger or when whatever does magic against you, it has to go through the moon. If you live upstairs, how the heck are they going to catch you? Never. That's why magic doesn't work on us. If you are watching this, rest assured, magic will never work on you. Why? Because you'll see it twice. In fact, it's so bad, they speak to you. Demons will come to you and report to you who sent them and why. And you can just instruct them what to do next. It's wonderful. So we need this separation. It's a beautiful separation. So let's go to 9. Then God said, this is number 9. Then God said, let the waters under the heavens. So now these are above the heavens, right? 1, 2, 3, the triumvirate. And then these are the waters under the heavens. These are all waters. Then God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And so God called the dry land earth, blah, 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 blah. So all these waters are under the heavens. So when you are in the astral, when you're in the mental, when you're in the etheric, when you're in earth, you are in one creation. Remember, now is it all coming together why we have four worlds and how it intersects, and reality is that intersection. Yes, I'm hearing a yes. Doing some work. But now, if these are upper waters and these are lower waters, and God just says they gathered them together, let's actually divide these waters so that we can understand where we get marines, aquamarine. Where's the marine demon? Okay, so let's put the Bible down for a sec. So let's use blue. Okay, we'll use red and blue. And okay, so these we will call upper waters. Okay, you're right. I should use that. Upper waters are ruled by Venus and Earth. Okay, I'll use black for goodness sakes. Upper waters. This is Venus and Gaia. These are the middle waters. I heard someone say Middle Earth just now. And this is obviously your good friends Mars and Jupiter. And then we have magic over here, which is your good friend. These are the lower waters, the lower upper waters under the main waters. And these, oh, this is your friend Saturn and a bit of Uranus, but I'm not going to put Uranus because that's, you know, Saturn and Uranus share Aquarius. So for purposes of education in the arts, it's fine. Because you're only doing 7 planets anyway, really. All right, so now let's do these waters. So the Bible doesn't go into these. It just says he gathered them all into one and there was land. Yes, he gathered them all into one and then there's material, land. So let's make that brown. Where's my cookies? Cookie there. So let's make it a nice brown, earthy color. It's all in Genesis, guys. God would not leave us with nothing. I should use purple for Asiya. What I should do. Okay. Now this is your crown chakra. So I'm going to put crown or pineal gland, whatever. Pineal. Inner eye. You must fill this with light. That's what Jesus said. Fill your eye with light and your body is full. I don't know. When I travel the realms, guys, my mind goes all over the place because I start watching things. I start watching you, actually. Whoever's watching, I can see you from these places. And sometimes I see interesting things and I get sidetracked. Okay, so now you have your machine, you have your marriage protocol. Integrate your upper heavens, your source code. Get clarity in the middle waters. Align yourself down here, and then this beautiful light will bounce off your dreams. You'll actually dream of the future. You'll have thoughts that make you do impulsive things that give you access to magic, and then you're sitting in your studio at 2 in the morning telling people how to use the machine. Amen. And baptism is the key because it lets you enter the stream, the live stream. Okay, cherry break. I need it. So now, I want us to explain the transfiguration in terms of what's the. Am I saying that you must go stand on a mountain and shapeshift? Am I saying that you need to call up these specific people and follow it exactly as it happened? No. I'm saying that there's a reason why you decided to follow Jesus out of all the people you could have followed. And I'm saying that in order to complete that reason, there are going to have to be steps that seem arbitrary at the time and that seem like, well, if God is so powerful, why do I need to do this? But in the process of doing them, you discover things. Those are your experiences, your swords. And the things you discover are the mysteries of these planets, the SSD intelligences. That's what you're really after. The process is a machine, it's a computer, it's an African computer. But what you're really after is learning how Venus and Gaia control your destiny. Just to touch on it briefly, you know how. You fall in love with people at first sight, you have children with them, and that's either going to produce positive results or negative results. Obviously, the parents of Jeffrey Dahmer must be upset, beside themselves, because they feel guilty with what their love created on earth for people. It's destiny. You don't have to punish yourself for being in love or having physical urges. We're definitely not saying that. We're just saying if you can calm this moon down by integrating your childhood wounds, then you'll be fine. Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter doesn't say yes or no. Jupiter just expands whatever there is. This could be dangerous if it's not put with Mars's separating energy. Think of dynamite. Jupiter will just make dynamite explode and keep going because Jupiter is expansion. all expansion, good or bad. Mars needs to be there so that there's a limit to that explosion. If one stick of dynamite could explode a whole neighborhood or the whole world, then we would be crying for Mars, for Satan to come. I know that sounds horrible, especially coming from me, of all people. But the purpose of being a monosoul is that you are no longer hiding or cowering or whatever behind a gate of fear. You are now in it. You know God's a squid, and you know the devil is just a testing agent. But when you go to humans outside, you cannot tell them these things. When you talk to your friends, you're going to tell them, yes, Father Christmas is real. You're going to tell them, yes, you're going to celebrate Easter with the rabbits that has eggs, and you paint the eggs. You're going to do all of that. But it's not you doing it, it's AI. Why? Because you know it's BS, and you know this is what's actually happening, because this makes sense. An Easter bunny with eggs doesn't make sense. A mirror that can reflect light off someone's face makes perfect sense. I've seen it in the movies. So Mars, in its positive aspect here, means you are not having inner conflict and you are not being controlled by your desires. Now, this is where the Hollywood people messed up. The Hollywood people had it good up here, the dream factory, but they messed it up here with their freak-offs and their islands and everything because they were hearing, remember what Jesus told us yesterday, and Hydra and that the people you guys were dating in the past, and I'm like, you guys, that we were dating in the past were dead bodies. Does it make sense now? I'm still creeped out by that. So EP cray. We were literally dating the ghosts of Mars. Okay. Okay, not me, because I didn't date that much. I just dated a couple of aliens. And not even seriously. So I I escaped. No, but guys, don't. I'm saying that because I can hear someone right now saying, "Oh my gosh, like someone can relate to dating a demon." But you're fine. You're pure. You're sanctified. It's just water, okay. And then the lower waters, of course. Saturn is where the magic is. Now, you know why those lodges always worship Saturn. Now you know why I told you in that video, Saturn, the red one. It's because these ones are trying to come up, so they draw pentagrams and they try to do whatever. Stay away from those people. Why is it important to balance your moons for your magic to work? I want to give a quick example. Then I think we've covered it. No. Yes. All of the above. I told you this was Elijah, so who's this? This is Moses. Moses is representative of the law, the word, the Ten Commandments. Moses works with Mars and Jupiter because the law gives us boundaries, but it also helps us receive light, helps us grow, stay alive. Now, let's do a quick example. Let's say You want to manifest a Porsche Cayenne down here. Let's say you are a woman, and let's say you are secretly in the closet. You are a bi woman in the closet. No one knows. The astral knows. Now, let's say you don't want to do this monosol directive. Let's say you want the easy way out. So you go to TikTok and you see people saying, all you need to do to get what you want is climb the ladder and go to the throne room and take it. Or just climb the ladder and go to Elijah and take it. Destiny swapping. Those people don't even know about this part. They go up to here. Okay, so let's say you this bi woman. So now you're in here. Oh boy. And you went through here. When you get to the astral realm, it's full of images and currents. Some of them are evil, some of them are good. The evil ones are called the unseelie. They are shapeshifters. They can make themselves look like anything at all. Like, it's astounding. The good ones are called the Seelie court. Now, if you go into these realms and you don't know that you are, for example, lesbian or gay or bi, you are not going to recognize your angels and you're going to end up with a succubus or an incubus. When you travel up these realms without authority or baptism or a passcode of any sort and not knowing yourself, because look, there are archangels in the 4D and there are angelic orders in the 3D mental. So angels don't have gender, for example. So if you have a complex about whatever thing it is, it could be secret gayness, it could be secret gambling addiction, it could be secret drugs, whatever it is, you will not be able to recognize your guides. And when you don't recognize your guides, they're going to take you away and slip in something else here. And then you come back to earth as something else. The unseelie like to do that. They like to swap people. Be careful out there. Because if you are a gay guy and you see a hot man trying to help you in the 4D, but because you feel guilty when you wake up, you are going to block your angels. So you need to know who you are. Know thyself. Don't tell everybody. Don't convert everybody. But know for your own monosoul, because things look different in the waters. And Moses, he originates the Logos, the word. So when you see that thing in there, whatever feelings you have, you better be able to put them to words, because God's gonna ask you, why did you date a woman when I told you to date men? Because I needed you to do something. And then you're gonna be reloaded. I'm telling you. So this is also known as Ketu. And if you know Indian astrology, you'll know that Ketu is something to be overcome. There's no H, but it's fine, you get it. And this is Rahu. I feel like we're bringing all the communities together. So we have Elijah, who is the North Node in the West. He's Rahu. In the East, he's Dharma, destiny. You have Moses. He's the Logos, the law. He's Ketu in the East, South Node in the West, Karma, reincarnation, wheel of fortune is down here. Karma, reincarnation, Dharma, monosoul directive. You want to use karma as a training ground so that you can get to your Dharma graduation. Now you, dear Star Marine, as Jesus' bride, you need Moses to minister to you so you can keep your happy marriage. You need to let go of your old life, old projections that you might have of living in the suburbs, of being with a man who fixes things, or a woman who can cook. Forget it, it's gone. That dream is gone. And that's what Jesus was trying to show you at the Transfiguration on Mount Hermon. When Jesus went on the mountain, he created himself as a portal. He called these two people to the mountain. He was shining like he was wearing white light because he was reflecting the face of God from the throne room. And the disciples could see it because he manifested it. This is the transfiguration. This is the transfiguration. You are part of it now. Jesus is the operating system in the etheric realm, and he's waiting for you to join your astral reality with your mental reality so you can impregnate the ethers and be the empress. Then you will be so grateful, you'll send your love back to God's creation, children and widows. So whatever trauma you have locked in the astral, you need to release it. And you know you've released it when you can confide in me. Talk about it. And you'll only talk about it when you believe in me. And you'll only believe once you forgive. And the forgiveness is for yourself and the whole entirety of your past, not about other people. It's for you. Because then your heart will be light as a feather, and that's what they want. A light-hearted person, like a kid. Because you need to be light-hearted to imagine, to use your imagination. So now you're probably asking, okay, where is Jesus now? Right? He's here with the bridge. And he's waiting for you to take the bridge, cross the bridge that he built for the two of you in the wedding. the river, so that you can get to Lumania and beyond. You can break through this firmament, this mystery from Genesis. And again, it's just your blue moon. Connect them to the black moon, and you've done it. I mean, I feel like it's almost too easy that it might not be believable until I guess you do it. And all I can promise you is that you will get what you want. Because you have to delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37, verse 4. It doesn't say delight yourself in the Lord and maybe He'll give you the desires of your heart. You will get them, no matter what they are. Even if some preacher on TV told you it's wrong, you can have it, whatever it is. Because in the throne room, there's this golden spiral of light. Some people call it your vortex. That's the mirror that's reflecting. And you want to draw this energy down and inward instead of letting it be this storm. Remember when Jesus walked on the water and Paul was scared and then he did it and then he got scared again? I know it's going to be a tough process. You're not going to do it one day and never be, bad at it again. It's a minute by minute process. You can get triggered at any minute. And then when you feel yourself getting upset, integrate your code, clarify that you are a bride of Jesus, and then align your behavior to that narrative, and then you'll be fine. No one can hurt you if you don't react to them. Stop reacting to humans. Don't let these demons keep you out of your throne room. And I use that term affectionately in the King Solomon way. I feel like we did it. Yeah. I want to go and be baptized again after hearing. Let me ask the cards. Jesus, did we do it? Did we, make a great case for celibacy? And we're not talking about celibacy like you're never going to do it again. We're saying be deliberate about what you do. Don't do it for fun, do it to create. So if you meet someone and you both understand this, you have permission to do it. If only one of you understands this, you're not doing it. I think now I sound like Paul making arbitrary rules, but I think it's the safe way. So Jesus, do they get it? They fighting. What are they fighting now? Which part are they fighting? The emotional part. Oh, the astral part. Oh, they don't believe people have emotions that they haven't acknowledged yet. Okay, so how do we overcome that? Okay, tell them an example. I'm gonna have to use that example as sad as it is. No, give me another example. That's too dark. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you know when you're dating someone, you always want to put your best foot forward, right? Now, when you're dating someone, it's not like you're going to marry them. It's not like they're the love of your life, your soulmate. But you always have the thing that they call a honeymoon phase, where you go on picnics and you call them every day and say, "How are you doing? Good morning, honey." Are you lying when you do that? Would you consider that a lie? Or would you consider that investing in a future relationship? Would you consider that courting, dating? Do you see what I'm saying? From our perspective, you're lying. You're presenting a false image of yourself so you can get something else. In your mind, you are just dating. It's just the social thing to do. This isn't a social process, you see. So, to answer that question of can you have feelings that you don't know you have? Yes, because you can lie without knowing you're lying. Because inside of you, you think it's good intentions when you go on a date with a stranger. That's probably the worst thing you can do to yourself and to God. Because everything has been ordered and you going to look for a stranger on a telephone. That's not, there's something there that you're not looking at. And that's the proof that you can have emotions that you don't know about, because why would you go meet a stranger? Like, please write a comment in the comment section why anyone would want to go meet a stranger. There's no good reason. Exactly. Now, do they get it? This one wants to fly out. Behave cards. Behave. Good. Justice. So you know that everything you've ever created started in your mind first, and that nothing that has ever manifested in your life, you you can trace back every manifestation, is what I'm saying. And now you're excited because you know whatever you manifest next is coming. This is not a trick, it's not a drill. Justice is yours. I've done my job, because justice means you've got your inheritance, an explanation. We're going to go deeper into the four worlds and the Squid Man God, as they call him on Earth. And we will also go into the different paths and then the one, because there's only one. Many paths, many ways. No, many paths, one way. Okay. Yes. See you in the next one. Love ya.